What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to make a little bit of a discussion video about some of the possible reinforcement skins that we could get added to Battlefront 2 at some point in the future. Now, I'm sure most people already know, as the last community transmission was pretty big, but for those who don't, in the last transmission we were actually given a roadmap for the rest of 2019, and down towards the bottom there was actually a mention of reinforcement appearances being added sometime between October and December of this year. Obviously, as of right now, the only skins available in the game are for some of the regular trooper factions as well as the majority of the heroes, but for quite a while now I've actually seen a lot of people asking for some reinforcement skins, as well as stuff like emotes and victory poses and all that as well, but the majority of that noise has been focused around the reinforcement appearances. So today we're pretty much going to be going through a few of the initial skins I've thought of that could be added at some point down the line. Most of these are going to be from the Clone Wars content, as between all the different factions, the Clone Wars stuff is really the only place where we see canon variants of most of the reinforcement classes. For example, with something like the First Order Flame Trooper, we've only really seen the all-white version that's in the game already, and same goes with the Death Trooper and stuff like that, so unfortunately almost all of these skins are from the Clone Wars era. Before we get started, if you guys do end up enjoying the video, then make sure to smash that like button. These sort of concept or discussion videos are always a lot of fun to make, so hopefully you guys enjoy watching them as much as I enjoy making them. Now, starting off with one skin that isn't from the Clone Wars, and that is the Rebels version of the Imperial Rocket Trooper, which is only slightly different than the version already in game, but it is different nonetheless. The version that's currently in the game is slightly different in regards to the colour of the shoulder armour, and they do also have slightly different mouthpieces to the helmet, as well as two grey markings on the top of the helmet as well. Not only that, but the hoses connected to their helmets attached to the front in game. However, in the Rebels appearance they are actually attached over their shoulders, which is a pretty small change. However, it does actually make a big difference when you look at them side to side. So although all of these changes are very small, I would definitely like to see the skin added, since there really aren't all that many others available for the OT era. Now, moving on to the Clone Wars stuff, obviously we are getting Clone Commandos later this month, and we've already seen some gameplay in which they do just have the basic white appearance that I'm sure we all expected. There are a few skins available for the Clone Commandos, some that are very detailed and then some that are a little bit more basic, yet would still be pretty cool to see. The more detailed version that I'm thinking of is from a group of commandos called Foxtrot Group, who were actually part of the 212th, but more specifically I would love to see a Captain Gregor skin added, as he's a bit of a fan favourite after his appearances in both the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and as you can see he has probably one of the coolest looking designs of any clone in all of Star Wars. Now obviously I don't know if you could really add specifically a Gregor skin with all the markings on his helmet, since it would be pretty strange seeing 4 or so variants of him running around the Battlefront at once. But they could definitely just add the base skin of the Foxtrot Group / 212 skin without all of those markings, which alone would still be a pretty nice skin to add, not only with all those yellow markings, but also with that sort of digital camo instead of the base white appearance. Moving on now to some more Clone Commando appearances, the next batch that they could try and implement, which again might be hard as these are a little bit specific, but these are the Delta Squad appearances from the Republic Commando game that I'm sure a lot of you have played or at least heard of anyway. The 4 commandos in Delta Squad were Boss, Fixer, Scorch and Sev, and as you can see they all do have their own different appearances, which are all pretty nice, yet like I said they may be hard to add as they are all kind of specific, similar to Captain Gregor. With Boss and Fixer, these guys have some more sort of basic appearances compared to the others. Obviously Boss is kind of just more generic and that could be put down as its own faction almost, and then same goes for Fixer, as that green skin is pretty similar in ways to some of the 41st skins for the regular clones that are already in the game. As for Scorch and Sev though, these guys obviously have some more kind of personalised or custom appearances, so I'm not really sure if you could add these as regular faction skins like the others could, but in saying that, both of these skins are amazing, and personally I'd be more than willing to look past the fact that it kind of breaks canon in a way and just be able to use them in the game. Now, one way that they could try and add all of these without having more than one skin used at a time would be to add some sort of system where you can buy these skins and then maybe choose a default one that you want to equip. But then let's just say someone has already spawned in and has that skin equipped, then it automatically equips a different Delta Squad skin or something like that, just to try and avoid having, say, 2 people running around in these Scorch skins if they didn't want that to be possible. Obviously that's a whole lot of work just to add a few skins to the game, so I don't think that would really be possible, but in saying that I would definitely love to see all these skins added to the game, so I guess it doesn't really hurt to spitball some ideas around. If you guys do have any ideas as to how DICE could go about adding some of these skins in without breaking canon, then definitely let us know down in the comments section, as like I said, I would love to somehow see these added to the game. Moving on now to some ARC Trooper skins that could be added. Again, there are some sort of specific skins that they could add if there was a way to make it work similar to how I just mentioned, but the thing with ARC Troopers, and I guess they could just do this for Commandos as well honestly, is that they could really just add some faction skins for ARC Troopers similar to the regular faction skins for the base classes. For example, there are obviously characters from certain factions such as Commander Bligh from the 327th, or all the main ARC Troopers like Rex and Fives and stuff like that from the 501st, but you could just add those factions as their own skins. So a 501st ARC Trooper skin and a 327th ARC Trooper skin and stuff like that, giving them a bit more of a basic faction appearance and not directly tying them to any specific character. They have added some skins to this game that were actually not canon before they were added, such as some of the 41st appearances and stuff like that, so it's not completely out of question that they could just add, say, an ARC Trooper appearance in the colours and markings of the 501st, the 212th, the 41st, the 327th and stuff like that, and essentially just make them canon, which personally I would be all for that, as I think it would be so cool to see as many factions as possible in the game across all the different types of clone troopers. Again, some of these ideas may be reaching a little bit, and it's fair to say most of this stuff probably won't happen, but as I said earlier, it is always fun to spitball some ideas around. Now, if they were to add specific skins though, there are so many different famous ARC Troopers that could be added. Characters like Rex, Fives, Echo, Havoc, Commander Bligh and Commander Colt. Heaps of different ARC variations, and again, it would be weird seeing 2 of Rex and 2 of Echo for example, but if they could figure out a way to only have one at a time, I think that would be so cool to see some of our favourite captains and commanders out on the battlefront. Now, lastly, moving on to some skins for the BX Commando droids, and the first one I thought of was the BX Captains, who have these kind of white markings on their face as well as their torso as well. It's a little hard to see in the image on screen, but they do have a big white marking there on their sort of stomach area. Not really a crazy difference, but it is still a canon variation nonetheless. Next up, there are the Citadel variants, and they have sort of a light brown colour to them with a lot of yellow markings and stuff as well, and these would definitely be a nice addition to the game as they are actually fairly different than the regular Commandos. There are also the Senate variants that were responsible for escorting separatist senators, and these were more of a bluish colour with light brown patches and some more yellow markings as well. These are probably my favourite of all the BX Commandos, and I've seen a lot of Reddit posts or tweets asking for these skins as well, so they do seem to be fairly popular. Now, lastly, there are also these variants as well, which I'm not actually too sure of the name, but these were actually hired by Cad Bane in one of the episodes when I think he was actually attempting to take someone hostage or something like that. I can't really remember the episode specifically, but I do remember seeing these in the Clone Wars, and I think it's a pretty cool design. Plus, I do love me some Cad Bane, so these would definitely be a great addition in my eyes. So that is pretty much all I could come up with for this one, guys. I'm sure there are probably heaps of skins that I probably failed to think of, so if there were any that you think should have been mentioned, then make sure to let us all know down in the comment section. Obviously, some of these skins probably aren't going to be added anytime soon, but it is still fun to think about, and who knows, I honestly never thought we'd get reinforcement skins in the first place, so I guess anything is possible. If you are new to the channel, then feel free to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any more Battlefront 2 videos or live streams. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.